In today's lesson, we're going to start to break down the different body parts that you need to understand in order to look back at your photos and really reflect on what went well and what didn't. So we're going to begin with hands because, guys, if there's one thing that can actually ruin a photograph, it's definitely hands. If you're looking at a picture and you're saying, I'm not sure what's wrong with this, start there. Start with your hands. Start with looking at your subject's hands and where they're placed. And we're going to, like I said, break it down so that you know why it looks great and why it looks poor. Think about a ballerina, okay? If we go to the ballet, and maybe some people have never been there before, but you've seen those pretty little, yeah, I'm not a ballerina. However, you can tell a good ballerina because they can get emotion all the way into their fingertips. So they're able to actually convey everything through their body from their tippy toes all the way to their fingers. Most of your clients aren't going to be ballerinas. That's okay. But we're going to break down how to change somebody's hands in order for them to actually have it. So I want you guys to stand up with me because that's what we're doing today. And I want you to start off by extending your arm all the way out to the side. And I'm going to extend it towards you, okay? You're going to reach your arm forward as much as you possibly can. Reach, 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 all the way out to the side. Take a deep breath in. And then just let everything go. If you see how my hand automatically relaxes, it goes from this straight out to relaxed. That's what we're looking for in a photograph. Tension ruins a photo, especially when you see that tension in someone's hands. Relaxed is vulnerable, and that's what we want. We want those vulnerable in-between moments that we get from our different subjects. So today we're going to break down hands. We're going to talk about 4 different areas, and I'm actually going to show you the differences on a model. So we're going to start with our fingertips, move on to the palms, then the wrist, and then accentuating through your actual arm. All 4 of those things are things that you can think about or look at in a photograph. Before we continue with anything else, though, I want to state that while we're going through this, you guys shouldn't be going to every single photo and being like, now your hand needs to go here, and your wrist here, and your arm here, and your legs here, and your hips here, and your face here. That's not what this is for. This is so that you can actually break down and look back at your photographs and see where the misconception or the disassociation is. This is going to change that for you, but we have to understand why these make the photographs great versus a photograph that just isn't there. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start with are our fingertips. One of the things that we can ask our clients to do, especially when they're individual, but also with couples, is to place their hands near their face. So, Lakin, can you put your hand against your face like this for me? Right here and smile. You can see from that photograph that she's almost smushing her face. And there's a bit of tension that you can see actually in her fingertips. So I'm going to have her do the same thing that we did at the beginning of this lesson, which is to extend your arm out. Good. Stretch, stretch, stretch toward the camera. Take a deep inhale. And drop your wrist. Perfect. Still keep your fingers like that. Put them up against your face. Goodness. And then bend them a little bit more out. Perfect. Having those fingertips where they're actually curved, it gives a sense of intimacy. It gives a sense of the moment that we actually want to be part of. You can do this with any placement on her, like on your subject's body, okay? So, for example, I'm going to do one more. All right, Lakin, take one hand here. Take another hand down near your neck. Yes. Oh, goodness, and turn that finger bit a little bit. Turn a little bit that way. Look right here. Beautiful. It looks beautiful. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm also encouraging Lakin as we go because she does. She looks great with what we're doing. So your fingertips, the pads of your fingertips, if you think about them in this way, the pads of the fingertips should almost be gently brushing against either a jawline, the back of the neck. People want to see each other when we're doing couple portraiture. I'll ask them numerous times, all right, take your hands around her neck, but don't choke her. And a lot of people still will take their entire palm and their entire fingers around. It's totally different when you ask somebody to just place the pads of their fingertips. You can almost ask them to like play a piano. If you go through and you say, play the piano along the back of her neck with just the pads of your fingertips, it's natural, it's easy, and again, it relieves that tension that we don't want to see in our photographs. Okay. The second thing that really can ruin a photograph are the palms of our hands. Like, hold your palm out toward the camera for us. You can see right there that Lakin's palm is actually catching more light. And that's because the palms of our hands don't tan the rest of the way that our body does. Put this down real quick. Take your palm out just like this. Place your arm next to it. You can see the difference in the color of your palm versus the color of your arm. So the part of your hand that is the palm, it's going to catch more light than anything else. So Lakin, I want you to do similar to what you did before, where you're going to hold that hand up next to your face like this. Right, that's perfect. We can see in this photograph that the light is actually catching on the palm of her hand. Now, if you notice that the palm is facing towards the camera, you just have them change that a little bit, move it away. So move that just a little bit. You can even have it down here. Yes, yep, oh my goodness. Put that back up here for a sec. Yes. And then take that palm out to show everyone again. Yep, put your fingers in, perfect. Turn it in towards your face. Beautiful, right? So again, we want to make sure that our palms are not showing. The third thing that can really ruin a photograph are the wrists. I'm going to give you guys a tip right now, even if you're just doing this to take better selfies. If we're going to go in and we want to do the traditional sorority girl posing, what's the very first thing that people do? They take their hands and they put them onto their waist. Lakin, will you do that for me? Put your hands onto your waist like that. If we look at Lakin's hands right now, she's broken with her wrist. We don't want a break in the wrist at all. We actually want to have it completely normal. So if you take your hand straight out like this and put the thumb down, so change that so that your thumb is here, we're not going to have that break that happens with the wrist. Okay, the other thing with the wrist, especially if you're focusing on close-ups of the face, oftentimes we actually have people touch underneath their chin. Like, can you touch under your chin like this for me? Yep, perfect. Now, as you can see, keep it right there, you can see that there's actually a 90-degree angle. Oh, I just poked you in the face. You can see that there's a 90-degree angle that happens from this. What I can do is I can have her move her wrist over. Yep, just like that, so that we have that straight arm that goes into from the wrist all the way to the arm. And take it back underneath here, but then change that so, yes, that angle is beautiful. Turn towards me just. Again, I got rid of the palm. Now, the final piece to this puzzle is putting it all together with the arm, the wrist, the palm, and the hands. When your client is not feeling comfortable, when they're not feeling like they can be vulnerable with you, they will actually oftentimes have one finger that goes out. So they can show us what that looks like. Perfect. In this example, she has a bunch of fingers that are going in different places. But the last thing I want to do is tell my client, relax your hand. Okay? If I tell my client to relax, that automatically tells them they're not relaxed, and then there's more tension that's built up from that. So instead, I'm going to show you how I would get Lakin to do it. Okay, go back to this. Beautiful. You look absolutely gorgeous. Take everything right to here. Play along the jawline. Oh, stop right there. Beautiful. So see how I didn't say, oh my gosh, your hands are out of place. Everything doesn't look right. Everything doesn't look perfect. No, it's about the instruction and the communication that you use with your clients to get them where they need to be, in particular when it comes to that tension that we hold. Like I said, the playing of the keyboard is what has made the biggest difference for me. However, I know people who actually go in and they've been able to say, okay, relax that wrist, put it up, and then they just leave it from there. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's about how you instruct your client to move forward. Okay, so to review, we want to make sure that our fingertips are nice and loose. And an easy way to do that, they can do it with this again. Straight out, stretch, 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 and drop. That's going to relax the entire hand. It's almost like a, just like that, okay? So the second thing we want to make sure of is that our palms are not facing towards the camera and catching more of the light than we want. Again, your palms are going to be a different color than the rest of your skin. There's just something about the melatonin in there that it doesn't pick up the sun. The third thing is check for the wrists being bent too much. It's easy enough, even if you want this bend, you just extend the arm out, okay? And that's easy enough. Bring your right elbow out. Fly like a bird, okay? So see how I'm flying like a bird and it changes the angle of the wrist. The last and final part is just to put it all together. You guys got this. The next lesson we're going to talk about are the legs and the hips. I'll see you guys there.